Hello everyone and welcome back to the Northern Game Summit YouTube channel. Today I have yet another speaker interview for you today. My guest today is Pekka Lehtosaari from Pop Guru Oy. Hello Pekka, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. Now tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
I love pop culture. I have a massive collection of comic books and movies and music, and I am lucky enough to be working all my life with this stuff too. So mainly I do screenwriting, and I've written several movies here in Finland, and I think two or three of them also in English language. And then I have worked a lot with the dubbing division with Hayao Miyazaki and Disney Corporation and Warner Brothers and Fox, and also directed one feature.
Right, tell me a little bit about your career path. How did you end up doing this?
Oh, it's just when you do something long enough, you're bound to settle somewhere in that field. And I think that people in this profession are not by choice, they are just somehow doomed to do what they do. I believe that, the best people in the world, I believe Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese, they would have, if they never got a job in this field, they would still have thousands of DVDs and they would watch them all over again. People who are doomed to do this, they get to do this.
Right. I guess your workday depends a lot on the project, but is there any kind of basic way? How does your normal workday look like?
Well, we all have superpowers, and mine is avoiding work. So basically, I wake up in the morning, I go to the gym, and then I'm in my house and I should write, and I think that, oh yeah, but I gotta do the dishes first, and somebody should wash the floor, and maybe I should arrange my cigars in a different way, and so on and so forth. And after 3 hours of avoiding work, I decide that nothing's gonna happen here, and then I go to the club or some other place where I can't do anything, and then maybe I get something done. But I believe that workday is very nice when it's about 3 or 4 hours. I like that.
All right, you did mention a little bit before, but what projects have you worked on previously? Do you have any particular favorites you'd like to mention?
There are several. There's Bad Boys, a true story. I think it's still the biggest box office hit in Finland, which is, original, not a remake or based on a book. And then Quest for Heart, which was a feature animation, which we did for about 5 years, and it was the first commercially released animated feature here in Finland. And then last thing I did, I think, was a sequel to a superhero movie called Rendell 2.
Do you have any particular favorites among those?
Well, I think that I like them all, but the ones where you were able to put something of your personal into it, like Quest for Heart and Bad Boys, I think those rise to the top when you put something that you truly yourself believe. You don't put it like a lecture, you don't put it like that you're standing on a soapbox, but a couple of lines of something that you really believe in. That's always fun for me.
All right, getting more to the Northern Games Summit. Have you been before?
No, never been, but I don't do games as much as my children do. I have 2 sons and a daughter, which are approximately close to 30 years old now, and they still play a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. When there's some kind of a fight game event, they just stay up all weekend watching all the matches and so on and so forth, and they count frames and stuff like that I don't understand. But I started playing games, well, just about the time when personal computers came in the late 80s, Laser Suit Larry and stuff like that, and then to the Doom and so on and forth. But then when the kids came up, then there was a lot less time, and I still do like watching movies more than playing games.
All right. What is your speech going to be about this year?
Oh, we're talking about story, because that's my field. We're talking about because no matter how elemental the game is, even it's just two guys fighting against each other, there always needs to be some kind of reason for a fight. Whether the gamer is up to finding that out or not, that's their business, but there always needs to be some reason and background. So I'm gonna tell you about stories and basic building blocks, character-wise and story-wise, because if we say that man went to a shop to buy a carton of milk, you understand immediately that that is not a story. There has to be something else happening there before it becomes a story. So what kind of turns and twists we need from the happenings of the story that it qualifies for a story, and also what kind of characters are used in the story. And of course, when we know what kind of characters we need in a story, we also understand that we don't need anybody else. We don't need unnecessary characters that don't take the story along, don't take it further. Those are unnecessary for our story.
Right. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I do enjoy a bit of creative writing myself, so I'll definitely be there to hear that. What are you most...
Writing is a lot of fun because everybody has a word processor. It isn't like back then when you need to have a pen and paper and use for a typewriter, and you send your stuff to a publisher and they said no. Nowadays you can do the story and you can also publish it yourself. So for storytellers, this is really a golden time.
Yeah, and I think everyone should at least try storytelling sometimes. It's a lot of fun.
Storytelling is useful because it's always kind of a trip into yourself. What do you think about things? And why do you want to tell these stories? What things are important to you? So it's like you're doing a little bit of soul searching, no matter how. If you're telling the Raiders of the Lost Ark, there's still a love story there. There's still a character who wants something. You always wind up digging into yourself, and that's always very interesting.
Indeed. Now, what are you most looking forward to at Northern Games Summit this year?
Oh, I'm looking forward to meeting people who are enthusiastic about what they are doing. It doesn't really matter what it is, what they're enthusiastic about, but I really love to talk with people who have gone deep into something and know a lot about it, and they can tell me why they are fascinated with it. What are they striving to do with that? It's always, I always get something from that. I get a new perspective, or I get a new passion or something. So looking for people who are passionate what they are doing, that's the main thing.
All right, and last question, since you mentioned comic books, do you have any recommendations for a fellow enthusiast?
Oh, darn! I should have had it right here, but I wrote a book called Frozen Hell, Ratteen tie, which sold pretty nicely about 4 or 5 years ago. So I should put it up here now and say that buy this, but unfortunately I don't have it at hand. But Finland is a kind of a tough place to go into comic books because we release very little of them, because the marketplace is very small and you need to make a profit when you're releasing comic books. So most of the stuff that we get here is something that was here back in the 70s. We don't get a lot of new ones in here, so that's a pity. So usually I aim to buy something in English language.
Yeah. Hey, alright, I guess that's all the questions I have for you today. Remember people, tickets still on sale. You can find them through the link in the description. Yeah, that's all I have. I'll see you at the event.
Looking forward to seeing you all. Bye.
Yeah, bye.